Welcome back. I'm Gary Parr.
I'm Jenifer Rose.
And you are listening to the midweek version of Fiber Talk, the twice weekly podcast for needleworkers.
Yep, needleworkers. Love my needlework.
Yes.
Don't know what I'd do without it.
Well, nobody's taking it away from you, so how's that?
I know. You know what? The other day we were driving in the car and I was talking to my husband. I've been doing needlework for 27 years.
Holy smokes. Look at you.
Yeah. I was 27 years. That's more than half my life.
Look at you.
I was, because, I started cross stitching really, and I mean, this is daily doing something every day, sometimes full time, because, I'd skip school or skip the job to stay home and do it.
Yeah.
And, for 27 years, since I was 21.
Skip the job to stitch.
I would call in sick to work and stay home. Isn't that bad? I eventually just quit working because, So.
I'm not well, but 10 stitches in, I'm going to feel great.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would. I was a bad girl.
Well, if you can get away with
Some days it was calling and I had to. There was no choice. It was just calling my name. And school too. Some days, unless I had something where I had to go, I'd skip a class or two so I could stay home and work on whatever I was working on.
Okay. Tip of the cap to you. I couldn't do that. No.
I was bad. Not always. I mean, I still got good grades in school. Yeah. One semester I got straight A's and I was taking 24 hours.
Man, that's semi-impressive. I can't ever claim that. There was always a B in there somewhere.
Oh, no. Yeah. That semester I worked hard. You know what I did? I even put a little sticky note on my mirror that said, this semester I will get straight A's.
Oh, and you delivered.
I did. It was awesome.
All right.
Anyway.
I have to call in work. I have to call in sick because I have to stitch. Okay. That's a new one. Yeah. All right. Tonight. I'm
not the only one.
No, I'm sure you're not. No, and now, we'll hear from 10 other people. Oh yeah. I did it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tonight is either going to be, we're recording this Tuesday, so I haven't got things nailed down. So tonight is either going to be our next tour at Gallery 76 with April, and the next exhibition is basket weaving, which will be interesting. So it'll either be that tonight or we're going to stitch and chat. And if we don't have the tour tonight, it'll be next Wednesday. So either way, it'll work out. And if we do the tour tonight, then we'll do the stitch and chat next Wednesday. So either way, it works out. But
sounds good.
Yeah, just haven't. It's my fault. I just haven't connected with April to get it set up. So, yeah, I've been otherwise occupied. And then the March 17. Now, mark this down. March 17 will be our first thread talk with Cathe Ray. So, it's going to be the third Wednesday of every month. We're going to do thread talk with Cathe. And so mark that down. That's going to be, and that's a long-term thing. That's not just a 1 or 2 shot deal. That's a long-term thing. So mark that down to be with us on the Stitch Hour, Wednesday Stitch Hour on the 17th for sure. Well, join us every week, of course. But, you start everybody showing up for Cathe and the rest of us can take a hike, then we're going to have a problem. But, so the 17th, Cathe will be with us. So that'll be fun.
That's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And somebody asked if that would be recorded because they can't always make the live show. And yes, it'll be like all the other live shows. You'll be able to catch it later. So yes. Let's see. Just quick reminders that we have the Solitary Stitcher Amanda Rowe, the Mary Jane Fry 1861 sampler. And that is at wetalkfiber.com/MJF1861. And then kits are available from Sassy Jacks at wetalkfiber.com/MJF1861 kit. And I'm doing that. You notice that we have URLs that are wetalkfiber.com/something. I'm doing those. They're called redirects for those who don't know. I'm doing those so it's easy for you to remember and easy to type in. And then like the MJF 1861 kit takes you to the Sassy Jacks page for the kits. And that URL, of course, is sassyjacksstitchery.com/blah, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So it's just easier. So I'm doing that more to help people out. So be sure.
That is nice, too. Because sometimes, I mean, you go to there's so much to see when you go to the individual stores pages that sometimes you get lost and you can't find it. And you're like, where would it be?
Right.
So having that redirect.
Yeah.
Is nice. I like that.
I mean, obviously, everybody wants you to explore store pages, but
of course, you can explore from there. But if you really just want to go there first and then explore, it makes it easier.
Yeah, I downloaded the thing. I want the kit. You go there, you get it, and you're done. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going on, and then of course, remember the Cosmo Thread Club, 20 skeins a month for $21. And your first order, if you put in FT Cosmo, you get 5 blue skeins for free the first time. And so now March will be the second month for this thread club. So get in on that. And that is wetalkfiber.com/Cosmo or /Cosmo variegated if you want to the variegated threads. And of course you can get both. If you're a Beth, you can get both. Nobody will stop you. Yep. And then Springhill Stitch Along is ongoing, and that's wetalkfiber.com/Springhill, and that takes you to Needle in a Haystack, where Cathe has all the kits laid out and all the trimmings and accessories that you can buy to go with it. And I've actually started.
Nice.
Yeah. So
yes, I heard.
Yes, it's a very exciting moment. I started.
So did you do that stem stitch action, or did you change your mind?
I tried. Okay. Here's the story. Glad you brought that up because I forgot about it already.
Oh, really?
So Beth and I talked about that last Wednesday, all right? So I sit down Thursday night, and all right, I'm going to do this stem stitch. And so on the side, I tried the stem stitch because I'm using 1 strand of soie d'Alger, okay, because I'm on 40 count. And so I'm doing the stem stitch on the side, and the first try I do, it just looks like a straight line. It just looks like I backstitched it.
Right.
Because the thread isn't thick enough. So, all right, I'm going to shorten it up and I'll do shorter stitches. That should give me that rope-like effect. Mm-hmm. No, it didn't.
Oh.
So then, all right, I'm going to, because it just didn't have, it didn't give that look that you want, that vine look. And all right, I'm going to do 2 strands and see if that works. Well, it kind of worked, but it was sloppy.
Okay.
Like there were some times when it felt like the thing was rolling over, and it just wasn't a good look.
Yeah.
So that was an evening, because I tried everything, and I was pulling out some other things, and I just couldn't. It just didn't look right, and I decided that what I need is a really thin pearl.
Yeah.
And like I have a real thin dinky dye silk pearl that looked like it would work, but it's in a aqua color, and so there's no way I can use it, and I didn't have enough of it.
Okay.
So it was one of those things where, all right, now I've spent an evening, and I have not achieved what I want, and I think I know what I want, but then I got to find a color that matches, order it, and it's like, forget it. So I just started stitching it. Just the back stitch. But so I'm going to get that in, and then the leaves on there, I'm still going to try and do a surface embroidery on those. I think that will work.
Okay, yeah.
So that fill them in more because they're just outlined leaves. So I think I'm going to do that, and I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to do for the flowers because right now the design calls for eyelet stitches.
Oh,
But I've wondered if there was something else that I might do that would give them a little lift rather than a hole. So
that would be like a Smyrna cross or something,
right.
Wouldn't it? That makes it poof.
Yeah, that's where I was headed. Was a Rhodes Smyrna cross, something like that.
Right, or a Rhodes stitch, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they're all new to me still, so sometimes I get them confused.
Yeah, but something. Yeah, no, you're thinking the same thing I am. That would have a bump in it. Mm-hmm. So, that's in my head. If I had and I just thought, I could do a little micro Jessica.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder.
As long as your thread's thin enough for it to...
Well, soie, so...
Yeah, well, I've done, like on my butterfly lace mandala, I did some itty bitty Jessicas. Little teeny ones. And they were about that size, and they looked good.
It came out all right?
Well, yeah.
What thread did you use? Do you remember?
It might have been a Gloriana, because those chatelaines use all kind of different silks and stuff. All the kinds.
Well, I might just give that a run. Okay, there's a new one. All right.
That could be fun. Yeah.
Be a lot of fiddling, but I don't care. Whatever.
You have your magnifier. It'll be fine.
Right, and it's not that many of them, so.
Yeah. Ooh, I might do that too. That's kind of a good idea.
Could look kind of neat. Yeah.
I was liking your guys' stem stitch idea, but then you got. I wonder how it would work with DMC, because I'm using DMC.
Well, give it a whirl.
Yeah, I'll try it, and if it doesn't look good, then I'll not do it.
Yeah. I just couldn't get that rope, that twisted rope look, and it just one try, it was like, it almost looked like I made a mistake, and it's just forget it, and it just seems.
It's a fun idea, though.
Yeah, it just frustrates me because there's such a thin line across there that it seems like it should have more to it, but at some point, enough fiddling and just get it stitched. So
yeah, but hey, you tried something, so that's cool.
Yeah, but I'm still eyeballing that that double stripe thing. I think that's going to be Montenegrin. I really do. Yeah. Yeah,
you're going to do the angles and all that.
I think I am. Yeah, because I think that would be cool. So I'm not giving up on the overall concept, but yeah, we'll give it a try. Cool. Hey, and speaking of Karen Kluba, her new design, Feathers.
That's the peacock one?
The big peacock. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
Oh, man. Karen, bravo. Yeah, check that out. Feathers, Feathers. It's a great big old peacock Quaker sampler. Yeah, she nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
Other one I showed you guys, too, that she did? There was another one that she did that I was like, oh, that one's pretty. Gosh, what was the name?
Don't remember.
I don't either.
Yeah, I mean, this is one where, go Karen. Yep, check that out. And it comes, you can get it with a thread kit. And now I forgot the name of the thread. But anyway.
The Valdani.
No. It's somebody else.
Oh, I thought she used Valdani a lot.
She does for a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. Anyway.
I use that same Valdani for punch needle. The 3-strand, because doesn't she use the 3-strand Valdani?
I think so. Yeah, usually with her Quakers, you get a set of balls of Valdani. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you can order them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what is the name of that thread? I hate that. Well, it'll come to me right after we get done recording. I guarantee you. So, but check her out because that design right there. Yep. Go Karen. Nailed it. Sunday, Yvette Stanton.
Yeah.
Don't miss out. Sunday is Yvette Stanton. White work. All Yvette all the time. A lot of fun. She's great.
Yeah. I saw she has a new book coming out about Friesland in the Netherlands.
I know. Watch her videos. Subscribe to her YouTube.
I just did. Because Beth just brought it up the other day.
Yeah. She's been doing, normally she doesn't even hardly talk about her book before it comes out. But this time she's been sharing a lot of projects from a book that isn't even out. And I think it's great.
Well, it gets people excited. It's publicity, and it's free publicity on YouTube. So why not?
And of course, then you have her tips and everything else. So, but that's one where you could just buy every one of her books and never be bored.
Yep. Yeah, we lived in the Flevoland province, which is just south of the Friesland province in the Netherlands.
Oh, so you even know the area then?
Yeah, so we were real close, and we would go up to Snake to the they had a McDonald's along the highway in Snake, because we were out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there was no tourism where I lived. So so every now and then, and they had really good salads. The McDonald's over there is a little different than the McDonald's here. They have a little different menu and basically the same, but just a little different.
Uh-huh.
So they had these really good salads I liked. So we'd go.
So when you lived there, this white work, I mean, there's an awful lot of white work in history there. Did you see much of it? Probably didn't look for it.
I didn't much, and you know, we did go to a few museums and stuff, and like and saw a lot of cool things. But back then, there was no social media, and if there was social media when I was living there, I would have had such a much better time. It would have been so much. It wouldn't have been so hard on me because living here now and all the social media, there's all sorts of places in the Netherlands. I follow quilt places, cross stitch places, and I'm like, I didn't know these places existed. The internet was not very good back then either. So trying to find things on the internet was very, especially in the Netherlands, it wasn't as good as it was in the States at that point.
Yeah.
So it was, I felt very isolated.
So you may not have been nearly as miserable then if
yeah, I could have had a lot better time if social media existed and I knew about, because we drove all over the country, you know, exploring. I mean, it's about the size of Connecticut, so it's not that big.
Yeah.
But gas costs like 4 times more. So it was, you know, it got to where when we were saving money, I was like, all right, we can fill the gas once a month.
Oh.
And the car once a month, and Urian would have to ride his bike to work, and we would never drive the car except for when I had to go to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I would drive to Lelystad to catch the train. So.
Yeah, we get spoiled here. Yeah.
Yes. It's different. Yeah, I wish if I had social media when I was living there, it would have been a whole different story.
Yeah.
It would have been so much better.
That's interesting. Yeah. And it would have been interesting then to see if you knew this stuff existed then. Yeah, you'd have had a connection. You'd have had an incentive to go and meet people and try things. Yeah.
Yes. And I would have, you know, I could speak and I can still read Dutch pretty okay. But my speaking never got off the ground that great. I mean, I could do okay.
Yeah.
But I think I would have just overall developed more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Into the culture and stuff. I mean.
Well, you'd had a connection, a connection to something. Yeah.
As soon as I couldn't do the job I was doing for the American Women's Society, I was the magazine editor. And I could do that from afar via computer. And I only had to go down to Amsterdam like once or twice a month for that. All the other, and you can only do it for 2 years in a row. Then you have to give somebody else a turn. And so then there were no other jobs I could do from afar. And Amsterdam was a 2-hour trek.
Oh.
So as soon as that ended, I was like, we have to go home. I can't live here anymore.
Yeah. Now you're literally cut off. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I felt very alone. I was like, we have to go home. And we did. So, yay.
It's interesting. Yeah. Timing is everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is.
But, so. Yeah, you made it back here and you're still semi-sane, so we'll take that.
Semi. Yes, semi. Better than I was, let's just say.
Well, all right. We'll take that. So
I work on it every day.
Yeah. Haven't seen you started to do a Trish Burr needle painting thing?
I did. So I've gotten just some stem action done.
Okay.
And then the past couple days I've been mildly on the verge of headachiness, so it's too detailed for my eyes couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
So I had to do regular cross stitch because it was way too, and I was just like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I got a little bit of the stems done. And it's good.
Were those stem stitch or what were they?
It was split stitch.
Split, okay.
Yeah. And that's fine. You know, I've done split stitch before. But I think I took the directions in the book way too literally. It's like, do these ones in A, B, C, and D. from left to right. And so I'm like, okay. And so then I look at the picture. I'm like, the lighter color sometimes is more in the middle, not right on the edge.
Oh.
And from here on, I will take the colors she says. Instead of having them in my box in nice little rows standing there being, waiting their turn,
Yeah.
I'm going to lay them out. It's only 5 or 6 colors. I'm going to lay them out and then look at the picture and then look and see which one goes where.
Ah, okay.
I think, but it still looks good. I'm not going to take it out. But I need to be a little less rigid in reading the directions.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's don't take it out. It's part of the learning process. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, where you can't be rigid in the stitching, you also can't be rigid in reading the directions.
Right, yeah.
I was being way too literal. So I'm like, I think I took that way too literal. And I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, that's a natural reaction when you're trying something for the first time.
Yeah.
To stick to the deal. Don't.
Yeah,
don't
and
vary.
I tend to follow directions like that anyway until I figure out. I'm a direction follower until I've got the hang of it, and then I'm like, okay, now that I know what the rules are, I'm going to do what I want.
Mm-hmm. But you have the foundation.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the rules can go out the window. But I do the rules first. Yeah. And then I'm like, yeah, that was good, but I'm going to do it this way.
Well, but see, I think that's what works for me too. Get a thorough understanding of the rules, and then you can start to branch out. But you always have a home base to go back to. Right. Yeah. Things aren't working out. It's like my stem stitch thing. All right. It's a straight back stitch in the design. I'm going to go try this. No, didn't work. Back to what she designed, and that's a safe harbor. It'll work. And I'll try it somewhere else. Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So I only got a little bit done.
Because, I had hoped you were painting already.
I know. I had hoped to too, but like I said, the head was. I didn't have the migraine, thank goodness, but close. Yeah. Tired. My eyes were tired.
Yeah. But that is a good lesson though, to stand back and look, because what are you doing, a bird, or what are you doing?
I'm doing, the very first one is red, and it's the French rose.
Oh, okay. So, but there it is. Step back and look at it in terms of where you want the lighter colors and the dark colors, and what looks good to you, and then do it the way you want it rather than the way the book might say. Right. And it's also interesting that you looked at the picture and said, no, she didn't even do that. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, you use these colors, but you don't have to use them in precisely that order from left to right, know? Yeah. I think she meant left to right as in it's lighter on the left, and as you go to the right, it's darker because the light is shining on the flower from the left. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you even have to look at the picture and picture where the light is coming from. And you can see it. You can see it in the way she does the colors. If you pretend there's a big light bulb there, or the sun shining in from the side, you can be like, I see how that section, because it's a little bit behind the rose petals, is a little bit shaded darker, and this one's much more brighter because it's way out front. Yep. Yeah. Yep. And keep that in mind the entire time. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. So, and these petals are going to be interesting because it's like the other ones, it was shading from top to bottom, light to dark. This one, it's got light in the middle, and it fades out to dark on the edges. It's like it's curved then. Yeah. It fades from the middle down and the middle out. See? Yes. So I'm waiting until my head is clear, and because you have to focus. Yeah. Well, that's it. But that's the fun part of it is, and then that's the other thing that's interesting, though I have yet to do one. But keeping that in mind, where's the light coming from? Because in like your other things, any things that we do, we don't worry about where the light's coming from in the image. Right. But in these instances, it plays a role because we're creating something that's supposed to give the illusion of three-dimensional. So yeah, it's supposed to be more realistic. Yeah. So rather than an interpreted kind of image. So, yeah, so got to be aware of that. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
so that's because I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, you have to picture where the light is.
yeah.
And I mean, didn't she even talk about that in the book too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she does.
I think
Yeah.
she
Mm,
does because
yeah.
I read through it quickly. It was a quick, because I wanted to get to the stitching part. So it was a quick skim.
Yeah. Well, it's just the whole thing. After having Natalie on last week and talking
Mm-hmm.
about color, I immediately went and ordered a color wheel.
Okay.
And because I felt like she gave us enough, at least gave me, not us, gave me enough that I could start to wrap my head around it
Mm-hmm.
and understand what I'm doing. It was really valuable to me. I know it was just basic stuff, and for a lot of people
Well,
it was probably just background noise. But for me, it was a huge help to understand just the very, very basics. And I felt like I knew enough that if I had a color wheel in my hands, it would actually make sense to me
right.
rather than just a rainbow to spin around, you know? Just,
Right. Yeah. Well, did you take any art or anything when you were a kid, like where you studied the color wheel? Like, because I took in junior high, I took 3 years of art.
yeah, no.
Oh, okay. You had
No.
just like grade school art class?
Yeah, yeah, that, double fisted crayons. And, I mean, I had art. I'm sure there was one art class, but see, I was in band. And so
Oh, so
band
that
students
was
didn't
like
have
your
to take a
art.
lot of, yeah, we didn't have to take a lot of that stuff because we had to be in band rehearsals. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, that was for me all the way through school. There
Okay.
were things that others took that I just never had to because I had
Right.
I had the band. So yeah, so I didn't do
Right.
that, and I really wasn't that interested anyway. Um,
Okay.
I
See, I
was
was into it. I loved
yeah,
art. I
yeah.
didn't, my high school did not have art. And so I, and then I don't think my parents wanted me to take more art because I was also smart. So they
Hmm.
wanted me to take, academic classes.
Yeah,
They're like, you can do art at home. It's a hobby. I'm like, really? It's all I do now. But
yeah,
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder why I did. But like I said, I was concentrating on academics rather than art was a hobby at home,
yeah.
which sometimes is all I wanted to do. It should have been a clue, right?
Should have been. Yeah,
But
yeah. See, no,
hmm.
I was in what they called the college prep track, and for me, it was all science. So it
Hmm.
was science and band, and that was I mean that was my high school, and the rest of it I didn't
Okay,
there wasn't room in the schedule, number one, and I didn't care anyway. So
right.
just yeah, um, yeah. That's no, never did, and didn't regret it. The only thing I regret is I should have taken Latin.
Oh, I took Latin.
Yeah, I should have.
I only took a semester. I took it in university. I took a lot of languages because I have a
Hmm.
minor in English.
Oh, okay.
I have my majors in Spanish and I have a minor in
Yeah.
English.
No, I should have done
So,
that because so many fundamentals of language in general are Latin based, and
yeah.
yeah, missed out there. That was dumb. It was a really really tough course, and I should have taken it was from a old school teacher who was really hard. But
Hmm.
I should have sucked it up because it
They
would be
didn't have that. My high school had the three traditional, German, French,
oh
and Spanish.
yeah
Now, I did take, I took a ton of Spanish in high school. I was in Spanish club, all that stuff. And then I did take German in high school as well. And then I took Latin, French, and Russian at university.
hmm. Yeah
And then there's the Dutch.
yeah yeah yeah. No,
Yeah.
for us it was I should have taken Latin instead. I went with the rest of the guys to take French because the teacher was good looking. And I'm not kidding you. She was good looking, and we knew that she didn't discipline her classes very well. So it was an hour
Oh,
of horsing around, and you knew you could easily pass it. But
oh my
yeah, I mean it
goodness.
was apathetic. And meanwhile, I should have been uh, doing
Well,
myself a
hey,
favor and taking Latin. But
back then we had like what, 7 or 8 classes a day. And it was a lot of work. And I remember, and you have your extracurricular activities. Sometimes some of my classes, I would have to settle for B's because I just didn't have enough time to study.
Oh, yeah.
So like history, I always got to be in history because I just didn't put in the study time because I was busy with all my other classes that I really liked and my extracurricular activities.
Yep.
There's just only so much time in the day.
That's true. Yep.
And then, there's the boyfriends. Anyway, we got way off topic.
Yeah, I was going to say that ends our Glory Days segment. Our high school Glory Days segment. Yeah.
Art classes. So,
No, never did the art thing. No.
That's funny.
So
no, but I learned
what?
I learned a lot about color when I did quilting.
Oh, that's right. That's where we were at. We were actually talking about color, which mattered.
Talking about color. And I have a color wheel on the back of my door in my sewing room, which I've had there for years.
Oh.
Which I never really look at. I learned a lot in quilting about color.
Mm-hmm.
And you really...
Well, you almost have to because in a lot of ways that is a color wheel, right?
Absolutely.
Just about every one you do, yeah.
You can tell if the colors don't go quite well. It's like, that one... Sometimes it's good to have a color that sticks out and it's like your zinger.
Yeah.
But it has to still go with the others.
Right.
Sometimes if the tone or the tint or whatever is way off, it just sticks out in the wrong way.
And I say that like, how can you not deal with that with quilts? I mean, it applies to everything, but I'm just thinking, you got these big swaths of cloth that you can't.
Because not only do you have, you're not using solid colors in quilting. You're usually using prints.
Right.
And within the prints, there's all sorts of colors. You have to make sure it all goes together.
Yep.
And it's easy if you buy within a fabric line because they've made them all go together. But if you want to branch out and do your own thing and just pick and choose, you've got to watch what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Natalie got me at least along far enough to buy a color wheel, and I'm taking her class. I'm going to take her Ode to the Palette class.
Nice.
That's I got to suck it up. Sooner or later, I got to suck it up and learn at least the basics, and not learn them in terms of reading a book, but learn them in terms of application, that I actually use it.
Right.
Because I've read the books more than once, and my eyes glaze over, and it's like, whatever. And no, I need to force myself to actually take thread and combine it and make it work. So, I'm going to do that.
Yep. And then one time, this is a crochet project I did. I made a friend a baby set in a light pink and a white. But because of the way the pink played off the white, it turned the white into looking like yellow. So instead of light pink and white, it was or maybe it was it was white. And it made it look yellow, but it was white.
Then it looked dingy.
Yeah, well, it didn't look dingy yellow. It looked yellow.
Oh.
The way these two colors combined when you use them together. But I was in the Netherlands then, and I had those colors, and you couldn't buy the yarn over there. I had to buy it in the States and ship it over. So I just went with it. I'm like, it's just going to be pink and yellow instead of pink and white. But yeah, the way the colors played together totally changed the color.
Yeah. And see, that's the part that intrigues me. That part really intrigues me, but I know I got to go through a lot of the basic stuff to even be able to grasp that. So,
right.
Yeah. So that's kind of my carrot, if you will.
Nice.
We'll see.
Well, that'll be good though.
I think so. I mean, I'll be glad I took the class. I guarantee you that, because Natalie's a good teacher. So, I say that though I have never actually taken a class from her, but she is a former teacher, so I know darn well she's going to do it right.
Yeah. And her presentation the other day, you could see.
Yeah, and I've proved a couple of her class documents, and you can tell it's all buttoned right up. So
nice.
Yeah. Yep. So that coming up. But, it makes me wonder. I should have seen that color wheel by now. I'm sure it's on its way.
Yes, sometimes the mail is a little slow, and sometimes the mail out here, it comes into somewhere in Connecticut, then it goes all the way up north to Massachusetts, and then comes back down the highway to me. I don't know why this happens. I don't understand, but it's It was in Connecticut. Now it's in Massachusetts. And bizarre.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a plan. Mm-hmm.
I know. It's just weird.
Maybe. I feel bad for the regular workers. I think they're going through some tough times, but
yeah.
Yep. So you and I listened to Jane Dunewald did a 4-week series, and you and I were in the first 2, where she was talking about creativity and so on and so forth. We did the first 2. The first one I thought was excellent, and I just started kind of, the second one wasn't working for me. It kind of got off the rails a bit, but I thought it was interesting. One aspect of the first one, talking about creativity, and you're working on a project and you want to do something else, and then you have X amount of time. I've got an evening. I want to do something else. And then you waste a bunch of that time just simply getting organized to do it.
Oh, right.
And I thought that got my wheels spinning in terms of, okay, that means you need to, when you buy stuff, you need to put it in some organized fashion somehow, so that the day you decide to do it, you can pick it up and go. And I can't do that because
right. Well, that's kind of like kitting, but I've decided, especially with my DMC flosses, I've decided not to kit anymore.
Yes. Because
I just have way too many extras. It's just driving me crazy. But I do put, I just bought a fabric to go with these other things that I want to make to go on my bedroom walls. And that all goes together. Mm-hmm. So I told you how I rearranged my craft room where everything that has a fabric or is a kit that came as a kit is all in a section.
Yeah, yeah.
So that when I want to do it, all I have to do is I want to do something different and I want to do this kit and it's ready to go.
Yeah. Because there's a, because as they were talking about that, I was just thinking how much time, because if I were to pull out a chart right now that I knew I had purchased the threads for, I would spend a good deal of time finding the ground cloth, right? And because I know I didn't label it, and as a matter of fact, I was looking for one the other day, and I knew I had purchased the linen. And it took me a good 20 minutes, and then I found it. And but so then what's that? That's just poor. And so then, okay, if you buy that linen and you buy the threads, then you put it in a box or a bag or something, so it's all together with a label on it. Or if you're going to do like you've talked about, where you're going to take your DMCs and put them in with all the DMCs, so you know where they're at, rather than ended up buying duplicates like you were talking about, which I've done the same thing. I've got a lot of duplicates because I didn't think I had it. But if you're going to do that, then you got to do all the threads, and you got to have that organization so that you can go and pick them out. And so it just got me thinking about that. There's a real discipline there. Unless you're willing to spend, an hour pawing through everything, looking for that one skein of thread you bought, but you can't find it.
Right.
And give up and now go to the store. And these days, I'm now one who does not have a store I can just run to. And, so it really, there's some forethought goes into that, I think, that unless you're willing to spend the hours, like I said, pawing through. There's some forethought in terms of when you come home with a bag of stuff from the store or something comes in the mail, what do you do with that?
Yeah, I try to, especially now since I'm going back to being organized. For a while I was loosey-goosey and it got too crazy for me, and it started it was making me crazier than I need to be. So now I put it away where it belongs. If I know this linen is going to go with those charts and that's what I bought it for, they go together. Mm-hmm. And they're sitting here because I want to hurry up and finish that little honey bunny, that bunny that I'm working on, because I want to start these flowers. I want them on my wall in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Bad.
there is there's some thinking that needs to go into that in how you do it. And like we emptied out some things. We're doing a major housing clean out here, and a couple of file folder boxes came free. And rather than having charts stacked on shelves, I said, hey, give me those boxes. I'm going to put my charts in there. And so then I started organizing the charts. And I'll tell you how far I got. I got samplers in one box, and then I just threw the rest in. It's just forget it.
Yeah, I tried organizing my charts too, like by season or I don't know. And then some you just don't know where they go. So I do kind of have mine like, here's all the samplers and then everything else.
Yeah.
It's kind of, yeah.
And I think the only way to do it consistently is to do it by designer, because I start out, all right, I'm going to do samplers. All right, then what do I call the rest of these? I don't know. And so then it was just throw them in the box and move on, because that was an evening. Yeah. I mean, and this in the groups on Facebook, organization and storage comes up all the time because everybody struggles with it. And I've not read of one person who has come up with a solution that works. Works for everyone or most people.
Right. That's perfect. It's just whatever works for you, I guess.
Yeah.
And even then, it seems like people it works okay. It's like the best I can do.
Right.
It's not perfect,
Right. Yep.
Except for my DMC storage, I believe for me is perfect.
Well,
but see that with how I do.
Yeah, but that's the one. That's one place where you can actually do it. You're gonna put them in by number and in some container. Yep. However you do it, whether you bobbin or keep it on skeins, but in some order like that, you can do that. And but where the problem comes in for me is you finish a project. Yeah, okay, I just finished one. But you have these leftover skeins of thread or partial skeins, and then that's when the discipline comes in. All right, these are all Soie d'Alger colors. Like I just finished Hannah Longstreth. Now I've got a ring full of Soie d'Alger, MPI silks. A ring full of MPI silks of a variety of colors. Okay, what do I do with that? They're all on thread drops.
Yeah.
You see?
I would think that, so I have a few, like I don't have many silks. And most of the ones I do have go to that butterfly lace mandala, so they're in that box. And the couple ones that I have that were for other things, I have a little small container thingy, like Tupperware, whatever they are from the store. And I put it in there, but I don't have a big enough stash yet. But I think what I would do if I got a big enough stash is I would put all of the one type in one box and then try to lay them out nicely in color order. Like, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, brown, black, gray, white.
Yeah.
That's what I think I would do.
Yeah, that could work. So
and keep them all like together. Because, if you're looking for like what they look like. I mean, you're like, Soie d'Alger looks like this and 103 looks like that. So I would think keeping them in their little grouping by type, and then just depending on how many colors you have, just put them in color order in some sort of organized.
Yeah.
Because don't you have those big what did you say? They were toolboxes, right?
I do.
That you lay them nicely in the toolbox section?
Yeah, well, if there was room, but
there's no room?
No, there's 8 drawers. These metal tool chest things. There's 8 drawers, and they're all just about full. There's one that's not, but they're just about full of threads that are just in there. I mean, I've got a drawer that is mostly pearl cottons, but there's no order to that. I've got a drawer that's a lot of watercolors, but there's no order to that. So like if I want a watercolor, or then I can go to that drawer and I can pull out in a big clump all the ones I own, and then I got to lay them out on the table and see if I own the one I need. See, it's a mess, and And so when it comes to that wasting time, I want to start a new project, and you spend 2 hours just trying to find the parts. Yeah, you got
Well,
you got to do better.
You got to lay them all out in those drawers, nice and straight, and in either color order or an alphabetical order.
Yeah, I know.
Or number order, whatever. But like you have to do it, and then you have to maintain it. You can't get sloppy.
That's the key. See, I could take an afternoon and do that, but then you got to maintain it. And
yes, you have to be strict to be like, okay, now I'm done, and you spend 10 minutes putting it all away.
Sounds good. Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And I got loosey-goosey about that, and it drove me crazy. Yep. And now I'm back to strict order and maintenance with that action.
Okay. All right. Gonna check with you in about 9 months and see how you're doing on that.
No, I put them away. Like I get done with something and I put them back. They go back.
Okay.
I've been doing it. I've been good.
Okay. Tip of the cap to you, because I get sloppy. I just throw it. Yeah. I don't know. Got to work on that. When I get
sloppy like that, and my table gets too big and messed up, then it kills my desire to do stuff. Like I'm like, because if then I want to go in and do something, the table's all piled up because I didn't put all that stuff away. Oh, whatever, never mind, I won't do it. So it kills the inspiration, the whatever, Right.
And I think that was the point of this discussion, was exactly that. It just sucks the life right out of it. Yeah.
Right. Kills the go-go juice.
Because see, I have a plastic basket that sits on my table. And the original idea for that was that active projects, that's where all the threads go for active projects. Mm-hmm. Well, now that basket is overflowing with threads from active projects, and many of them are not anymore active. And so I should go through that and pull those out and put them away, and get down to the ones I'm actually working on. And see, that's the discipline right there. And
right.
Sometimes I'm good at it. No.
I've got my little thing that has like 3 different projects that I am, and most of those are over dyed flosses too. So I let them live in there because I don't use them that much except for specific projects. Yeah. And then if I want to start, I want to start these flowers, but I am going to finish the bunny first so that I do not have so many, so I don't have a bunch of, threads all over. Like I'm trying to keep my active projects down to a minimum. Yeah. And finish it. It's not that big. Finish it and then start the next thing. And then the whip go thing helps a lot too. I'm getting a lot done with that.
Yeah, I have to say, watching you with that really seems. I thought it was. I think most of those things are silly in a way. Mm-hmm. And when you started that, here's another gimmick. This will blow up. But just watching you, it has really worked well for you.
Yeah, it works because it takes there's only one thing on there that I haven't started, that'll be a new start, and it's the berry bowl sampler. Mm-hmm. But everything else on there, the cottages, maybe I hadn't started the June one yet, but I have 12 cottages to make.
Yeah.
So I'm counting.
But you're making progress.
Yeah, and a lot, especially on that Catherine sampler, I made a lot more progress on that than I would have if I had just pulled it out and stitched on it for a couple days. Right.
And it's not random. It's not random progress. You are making organized, goal-oriented progress. Watching you, I can see you getting from point A to point B, and this bingo, whip go, whatever it is, is the backbone that's doing that. And I can see it working, and I think I've done 180 degrees on that thing, because when you first started, I bit my tongue, but I was just going, Jenifer, spare me this
whatever
stuff. These little gimmicky game things.
See, now you should do it.
But no, I got to say, I'm 180 degrees. I see it working for you. And yeah,
I really like it.
Yeah. And you're keeping, you're active with them, and you're not grinding one out till you're sick of it. there's enough change going on, and but yeah, I mean, you are trotting right along. It's great. So,
Yeah, I was, by the time I got to the goal with the Catherine sampler, I was a little sick of it, but I was like, you know what? You have to do 1 hour a day for 7 days. Just do it, get this section done, and you can put it away.
Yep. But
but
look how far you've gone with that. I mean, that thing is beautiful. Yeah.
I made a lot of progress.
Yeah.
So, and then the next numbers just came out, so I'll work on those.
Mm-hmm.
And since I made my goal 1 hour a day for 7 days, so that's 14 days. And that's only half the month that I said you need to work on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I gave myself a lot of leeway to be able to do other stuff if I didn't want to do it that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I was like, I really don't want to work on that, I really want to work on this. So I gave myself a lot of leeway.
Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah.
And if I just have to get in 1 hour and then I'm like, oh, I did an hour. Okay, I'm done. I'm going to this project.
Yeah, but you got somewhere. You got somewhere. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm making progress on the things that I've already started, which is a lot. So.
Yep. No, it's working. I can see it working. And what looked like a gimmick to me looks now like an excellent tool to make progress. Yeah.
And I know in the group that they do more activities that I don't participate in. They do weekend challenges and stuff. And
whatever.
That's constricting myself too far.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, the base activity is actually delivering. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just right for me.
Yep. No, it's, I can see it. All right. We solved nothing.
Now, were we trying to solve a problem?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I'm not sure what we were trying to do. But it's just an interesting discussion and an ongoing discipline that I think is worth it to at least address. Just basically to keep yourself from buying duplicates and to keep from wasting time. So
yes,
yeah,
yes. And I'm working on my Springhill.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm working on that right now, actually.
Okay.
This part I don't have to look at the chart. I know.
I'm not.
But that's catching up to me, man. I got to get on it.
Yeah, I got to get going too.
She was working on hers the other night. She couldn't sleep, so she's working on it. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know. I saw that 1 a.m. I can't sleep. Might as well work on it. Yep, been there. Yeah, been there. Yeah. All right, that's gonna be it. We're done.
Okay. Has it been an hour? I don't even know.
Pretty close. Pretty close. Okay, tonight we're either stitching and chatting or touring with April. We'll know at the moment. We'll know beforehand, but you know how it goes. Yeah. So Sunday, Yvette Stanton. Be sure and catch that. Cool. Mark the 17th down in March for Thread Talk with Cathe Ray.
Yes.
There we go. Thanks.
Great. Thanks. Bye.